Hey guys, and welcome back. So let's continue and take a look at the scene that we have here. And this is a preview of the high-res sim that we did together. And this is how it looks like. I'm seeing a little bit of jittering here, or these guys flickering. What I would do for this is put down a drag and just drag this area, because as you can see it's not moving that much, and it's probably inside the mesh, so we're not going to see it anyway. But these guys will result in a difference in the mesh, and these would look like a spike. We could obviously mesh it and smooth it out, but I would fix that in the sim. So right now what we have here is points, and these are actually points, and we're going to convert this into a mesh to be able to use it for rendering. Now, as you can see here, the force, the initial force, you can see it's faking the bubble, the boiling effect, but it's just a noise. You can see the pattern there. It's just a noise pushing the points around, and then the object is colliding. You can see how the stickiness that we set is helping with the collision, with making the water stick more to the mesh, and that's very, very helpful. And these are all the sources that we've created. I think we've added one here, but it's inside the mesh, so it's not, yeah, it's here. It's not bubbling up a lot as it gets covered with water high on top of it. We're not seeing it a lot, but these guys are. Cool. So let's take a look at how to make this preview first. And we're going to use a particle surface fluid surface node. And instead of surface polygon soup, I'm going to change it to particles. As you can see, this is the result from the mesh, from the sim. If I middle click, we have two surface fields, and these are the fluid sim, the smoke sim inside the flip, and then we have the points, and they are packed based on their they're clustered and sparse packed, so it knows exactly how to store these points, and this node knows how to unpack them. So we're gonna do that. And you can see now we're getting points. Let me change this to pixels, and let's change the viewport to black. So these are the points, and I'm gonna change this visualize to velocity. And let me grab the color that I used. Cool, and let's see. And let's change this range, this value. Obviously we have to map it so it matches closer. It fits better the values of the sim. And right now 0 to 5 is working well. And then I look through the camera and did preview, and this is the result. Now one thing I don't like with this node is that we can only see one attribute at a time. Okay, we can either see velocity and or vorticity, which we've cached from the sim. And the vorticity has different information, very, very useful information. And what I'd like to do is I want to create my own visualizer that can mix both of these guys together. So I'm going to create a point vault. And right now it's packed geo, so we need to unpack this, and this is something happening internally. We're not going to unpack everything. We're going to use a node called unpack points, and this is much more efficient than unpacking everything. So we're going to use that, and then inside I'm going to compute the length of the velocity, fit range that, and export the max. And then I'm going to plug that into a ramp, color ramp, and let's call this velocity. and then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna rename this to vorticity, and I'm going to bind import the velocity attribute. And let's go back up, check something. So if I middle click here, the velocity is a vector and the vorticity is a float. So we don't have to do any length, we're just gonna use it right away. So this, I'm gonna vorticity, and we're gonna plug it in here. And it's a float. Do it again. Oh, it's colliding because of this. Yeah. So we need to have unique names. Input, and then this is this max for vorticity. And let's plug this in here and see what we get. Cool. And let's tweak the range. Let's go up. And let's fix these guys. Okay, so vorticity, let's go from 0 to 10. And what I'd like to do, I'm going to set this to red, green, and blue. And with this, I can tweak my range better until I get the red, green, and blue all visible in the shot, in the points. So right now, setting it to 1, we just get blue. Setting it to 10, we just get blue. Setting it to 1, we just get this section here. Let's try 0.1. So it's more red, 0.5. Let's pick a different frame. Yeah, I think 0.8, maybe 0.75. And I'm going to add the min as well. I think that this should help. With the velocity, it won't help that much. Just min port. And let's do the same thing with the velocity as well. Sorry. Actually, we don't expose these. We're gonna expose these guys. Yeah, sorry about that. We want to remap the input, not the output. We don't want to touch the output at all. So the output should go from 0 to 1. And this is good. And let's do one more thing. Test min val. And let's have them all just in case. Okay. Let's go back up. Cool. Yeah, so it's working now. So 10 looks like we're getting the whole range. Set this to 2. We can push the with the vorticity. We can go above 0 if we wanted to. Set this to 0.5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this and this and set the colors to match this guy. So I'm going to copy this. And let's set it here. I'm going to set this to white. And I'm going to set this to a darker blue. Something like this. And I'm going to change this even higher. I want to see, yeah, something like that. So this is the vorticity preview. And you can see we're getting a lot of cool details that are not in the velocity field. This is very different from the velocity field. And it's a very useful data to use for shading as well. So that's the velocity. Let's do the same thing for the that's the vorticity. We're going to do the same thing for the velocity. And what I want to do is I'm going to add both of them together. or actually let's mix them so we get 50% of this and 50% of the velocity, and this won't go to super white. And for now, let's preview this only and tweak it, and let's set this to blue. Give this a tint, and let's give this different hue. Okay, and then destination velocity. I'm going to edit the interface because the UI is getting messy, so I want this to be on top of this guy, and that's it. So let's say 0 to 10, 0 to 5, okay, 0 to 3, yeah, something like that. And then I'm going to mix both of these guys together. We can also mix them before plugging them into a ramp and have just one ramp, but this is the preview I wanted to use. The result I showed you guys earlier, this one has only the velocity and the preview, and this is going to show us a lot more detail about our sim. Cool, so let's continue. What we need to do is we need to mesh this guy now, and the meshing is actually pretty simple. I'm going to use a particle fluid surface, sorry, and I'm going to leave this to particle polygon soup, surface polygon soup, and let's take a look. By default, this has a region feature, and if you want to work on a localized section from the sim, you can go under region, tick this on, and change the bounding box to match the area you're interested in. You can also link this to your domain from the flip sim, and you're only running calculation and unpacking around that region. For now, I'm gonna have it turn it off, but this is an option that can save you time as well. Okay, let's tweak now. So let's go. The first thing is the particle separation. We want to get that from the sim. It's 0.02. Okay. Here, and then voxel scale by default is 0.75. I generally change this to 0.6 and to capture more details. Influence scale, I always set this to 2, and then the droplet scale is 0.75, and this will ignore more of the floating points, which we don't care too much about it, especially that we don't have a lot of big splashes here. And then we want to transfer these guys. We don't have any rest or anything, and this is going to transfer the data from the points onto the mesh. Let's take a look. So it's meshing now, and this process could be quite slow in some cases, and it's utilizing the points as well as the other surface fields. So it's very important to feed all the data to this node. Okay, it's still cooking, and there we go. This is our first meshed frame, and this is the water surface that we're going to render. Cool. Let's see. Now, one thing I'd like to do is, you see this droplet here? Let's do a blast. Or let's do a color node. Change it random from attribute and say droplet. And we want the impact points. And see these points are considered as droplets. And they're actually the one that will cause these guys. which is not very interesting. So what we can do is we can delete these points if a droplet is equal to 1. We want to delete these guys. Yeah, and there we go. We've deleted the points. I'm going to keep this here, and I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, let's try this and see what we get. Cool. So this is without the droplets, and this is with the droplets points. And again, these are not something crucial to the sim, and I recommend deleting these points. This is cooking the other frame as well, the other node. So let's wait for it. And then this is it basically. I don't have anything else to do on top of that. I'm just gonna write this to disk and let it mesh everything, and then we're going to create the whitewater sim, and then I think that's pretty much it. Let's compare the two. Not a huge difference because we don't have a lot of splash and a lot of droplets, and this is actually very cool. So one last thing I want to do is I want to use a peak node, and this is going to push the points along their normals. I'm going to set this to 0.01, and this is the original mesh. And this, think of this as a sharpen, or basically a pinch that's going to happen to all these curvature. You see now they're more spiky, and it's going to look more high res, and it's going to give it a more natural look. And I generally use this node to bring in more details from within the sim. You can see here without, it makes a huge difference. This is without and this is with. And then let's take a look at this mesh with the color from with a coloring similar to the points that we did, to the preview with the points. So this is the water with the same coloring that we applied to the particles. Cool. Now all we have to do is write this to disk. So ROP out, and let's copy this path. I'm going to call this core mesh. Set this to 400 frames, and then basically save it to disk, and then we'll continue in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.